An immense amount of work goes into making a bespoke suit, much of it by hand. But a lot of it is hidden inside a suit, so as a bespoke customer it's hard to appreciate all of it. In this series of videos, we're looking at 3 aspects of that craft with the tailor Jennie Adamson. In this second video today, we're going to look at the way that the line of a lapel is put together. Thanks, Jennie, for talking us through this. So those are the different parts of the structure of the front of the jacket, is that right?
Yeah, so this is the forepart. You can see here the body canvas inside, and then you've got the damaer, and underneath that is the chest canvas. So here I've taken a piece of lining cut on the straight grain, which means it's got no give to it. And the reason being the break line is on the bias, so not only am I controlling the break line by not allowing it to stretch out of shape, I'm also drawing in the break line to shrink away the fullness to create the 3-dimensional shape of the chest.
So the break line is basically the edge of the lapel that you see on the outside, and that's naturally on the bias on a diagonal because that's the angle it is on the outside, and you're putting this on a straight to keep and control that line.
Yeah, exactly. Holds it into shape. You can see here the ripples on the canvas there, that's where I've drawn it in.
Okay, yeah, so drawing in as you're pulling it all together there to create a 3-dimensional shape.
Exactly. And I'm using water here to create steam with the iron to shrink all of that fullness away so that it will sit nice and flat and moulded to the shape of the chest.
So the wool material naturally shrinks to the line that you've created.
Yeah, exactly. Marking in the break line here. And then I'm doing a prick stitch, which is a really subtle stitch from the outside on the break line, which just holds all of those layers permanently together.
So that's not a basting stitch anymore, this is an actual stitch which exists on the back of the lapel, on the finished suit, where the lapel folds around.
Yeah.
And this is now a final stitch, right?
Yeah, just tied a knot in the thread there.
And now we're padding the chest, right? So those stitches you can see on the rest of it, on the dark area, is the padding of the rest of the chest, and now you're extending that padding onto the break line as well.
Yeah. So again, a permanent stitch that's going to hold all of those layers together and just continually trying to create that 3-dimensional shape in the chest.
It's an aspect I really like about a bespoke garment, the way it has that kind of natural shape around the chest, and also moulds, right? They're all natural materials, so it's can actually mould to the wearer as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice to see it so close up. Really gives me a sense of how the suit is put together and relates to my own tailoring.
I know, it's a real shame when the garments are finished you don't see any of this work.
Because it's all on the inside.
Yeah. So the pad stitching now continues all the way across the lapel beyond the break line.
So all this is on the underside of the lapel and is actually coming through to the outside of the material on the underside, right?
Yep. So just holding all of those layers together, adding a little bit of ease into the canvas.
Right, yeah, because you want the canvas on sort of the top layer has got to be wide or bigger than on the underside, so then the lapel naturally rolls round.
Yep.
I like the fact that you can, on a bespoke garment like that, you can turn the lapel over and see that kind of stitching coming through.
Yeah, it should hopefully be very subtle, but if you know what you're looking for, you'll see the marks of the stitches.
And now more pressing, always lots of pressing.
Yep, always lots of underpressing as the garment's being made. So again, just really focus on getting that shape into the chest. We are making a 3-dimensional garment here.
How long does it take you roughly to make the whole front of a garment like that, from making materials and shrinking and soaking the canvas to all this kind of finished work?
6 or 7 hours.
Wow, okay. Thanks, Jennie, that was really interesting.